Life hack number 7. Get an iPhone 12 on Straight Talk.
Life hack.
Here's how it works. You walk into Walmart, go to the electronics section, ask for iPhone 12 with 5G and a dual camera system, and select the new Silver Unlimited plan. They'll smile because it's a good plan. You get real unlimited data all for just $20 a month for the whole first year. Get it at Walmart or StraightTalk.com. Straight Talk. Less dollars, more sense. Taxes and fees apply. Requires activation of iPhone 12 and a new Silver Unlimited plan or higher end auto pay enrollment. $25 a month service credit applied for up to 12 months if eligibility requirements are met. For network management practices, visit StraightTalk.com.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
SemperFiRoofing.com.
These pirates are a long way from sea. Time to rock the boat.
Right at the fence. Back she goes. Goodbye, Blake Perkins.
Our Brewers Pirates coverage begins tonight at 6 with Brewers Warm-Up on your home for the Brewers. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It is 73 degrees in downtown Milwaukee. Today, isolated pop-up showers this evening, high of 77. Tonight, partly cloudy, low of 65. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Jessica Ty. A tactical event near Caledonia right now. Multiple jurisdictions are at Cliffside Park. Investigators with the Racine County Sheriff's Office tell WTMJ people who live on Mishna Row between 6 and 7 mile roads are advised to take shelter and avoid the area. More details as we get them throughout the afternoon, right here on WTMJ. New data from Milwaukee police indicates the number of homicides in the city is down compared to this time last year. Carjackings and robberies are up, however. The city has seen 61 homicides through the first 6 months of 2024. That's down from 105 in 2022. Carjackings this year are up 26% compared to 2022. Police Chief Jeffrey Norman says the department has identified carjacking groups from Illinois targeting our city.
Carjackings are a crime of opportunity. Often those engaged in this behavior target victims who are not paying attention to their surroundings or may be distracted. Walking, driving, or parked waiting, I want to encourage everyone, get off your phone. Yes, I said that. Get off your phone.
Data also shows hit and runs are up slightly in Milwaukee compared to 2023, while traffic fatalities have gone down 16%. Meanwhile, Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson remains steadfast in his support of President Joe Biden.
During a virtual call with mayors from across the country, President Biden admitted his debate performance wasn't good, but that he's in it to win it.
Folks have said the president ought to move aside or whatever the case may be. He says, no, I'm staying in the race. We're not going to thwart the democratic process.
Mayor Johnson was on the call. He tells Wisconsin's Morning News he's confident Biden will be the nominee. He added,
you don't vote just for one person. You vote for an administration. You vote for a direction for the country.
Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
A local company's skyrocketing stock price, fueled by social media speculation, is coming back down today.
The famous guy who does this, his nickname is the Roaring Kitty.
Milwaukee headphone maker Koss still trading well above its yearly average price. The so-called meme stock took flight again after day traders saw signs of a buying spree. Annex Wealth Management CEO Dave Spano on Wisconsin's Morning News.
Koss is a great company. We're glad they're a Milwaukee-based company, well-run. However, their sales and earnings don't represent the stock price that is put out there right now.
That price topping $18 a share last week. Vince Vitrano, WTMJ News.
And I'm looking at the Koss stock price right now. It is down right now a little more than 11%. The world has finally gotten to hear from Sonny Williams and Butch Wilmore, whose week-long mission aboard the ISS, or International Space Station, has now lasted over a month.
A helium leak and thruster issues as the Starliner crew headed to the ISS have delayed the return home, but
I'm not complaining. Butch isn't complaining that we're here for a couple weeks.
They spent part of their time photographing Hurricane Beryl as it approached Houston, where Sonny Williams and Butch Wilmore both live.
And yep, power is lost, trees are down, but we're a big team. Everybody pulls together in Texas.
Testing is underway to ensure that the glitches are fixed before the return trip, but Wilmore says,
based on what we know, we are absolutely ready.
Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Time for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Everything is in the green at 104. The Dow is up 209 points to 39,501. S&P 500 is up almost 40 points to 5,616. And the NASDAQ is up 185 points to 18,615. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather next. Saudi Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 1:05.
Dan, did you know the average person spends 17 minutes a day looking for clothes in their closet?
Seriously? Just looking for clothes?
That's almost 5 days a year. It's why I love what we do, giving people time back in their day and calming the chaos.
I agree, Katie. At Inspired Closets, our 3D design software allows us to build a closet of our clients' dreams.
Inspired Closets gives you your time back.
And a lifetime warranty. Call us today or visit us at inspiredclosetsmilwaukee.com.
A wife and husband team.
When your car or truck needs service, you should take it to a specialist. I'm Jim Token, president of the Auto Dealers Association of Metro Milwaukee. At a member, new car dealers have factory warranted parts, the latest diagnostic equipment, and certified manufacturer technicians. Plus, their prices are as low or lower than independent shops, even on routine things like oil changes and tire service. Knowing all that, why would you ever consider going anywhere other than an Adam member dealer?
It's Christmas in July at St. Vincent de Paul Thrift Stores. Get sale discounts store-wide all month long. What a great time to shop for all of your Christmas needs. Get your holiday decor and so much more, along with all the great bargains we always have for you. It's Christmas in July at St. Vincent de Paul Thrift Stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
Ooh, you're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Don't think twice. Call Geis.
Since 1955, Geis has been the trusted garage authority in Wisconsin. Hey, don't let a busted garage door get you down. Call my friends at Geis today. With brands like CHI and LiftMaster, they have doors for every budget. They'll even build custom designs to meet your exact needs. For swift and reliable garage repair solutions, go to geisdoors.com. You can also visit their amazing showroom in Brookfield featuring hundreds of doors and openers and their custom design room.
Don't think twice. Call Geis.
Time for WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all sports desk. After dropping the opening game of a 3-game series with the Pirates Tuesday night, the Brewers look to bounce back tonight in Game 2. Coverage begins after the 6 o'clock news, right here on WTMJ. And Giannis will carry the Greek flag in the opening ceremonies of the Olympics. Taking a look at the roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time-saver traffic. No major crashes in the immediate area to let you know about, which is fantastic news on this Wednesday. We do have an incident, however, close to Menominee Falls, I-41, 45 south at the ramp from Main Street. The right shoulder is blocked due to a disabled vehicle. Once again, that's in Menominee Falls, 4145 south at the ramp from Main Street. If you're traveling north towards the Fond du Lac area, just a little bit north of Fond du Lac, I-41 north is closed beyond the ramp from County 00 because of a fire.
Traffic is sponsored by the famous Fox and Hounds restaurant near Holy Hill.
Buy one dinner, get one free tonight at the historic Fox and Hounds Supper Club, including steak and lobster. And desserts are buy one, get one free. Tables are open, foxandhoundsrestaurant.com.
We have a high of 77 degrees today, possibly a pop-up shower tonight. Partly cloudy, low of 65, calm winds. Thursday, partly cloudy, high of 80. On Friday is going to be fantastic, mostly sunny, high of 83. Saturday, partly cloudy, hot and humid, slight chance of a thunderstorm, high of 87. On Saturday, high of 82. On Sunday, partly cloudy, hot and humid again. Also, a slight chance of thunderstorms on Sunday. Saudi Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 1:09.
65,498 square miles. We've got a lot to cover, so let's get to it. This is Spanning the State, and here are your hosts, Kristen Bry and Brian Noonan.
Good afternoon. Coming up today, how patriotic is Wisconsin? Or better question, how do you measure patriotism? And are millionaires who lobby to pay their fair share of taxes patriotic? Well, Morris Pearl, former managing director at BlackRock and the chairman of the group Patriotic Millionaires, seems to think so. We're going to talk to him about the group's mission and what they're doing this election cycle to even the playing field.
Then we're going to spin around the state. We're going to find out why are cows wearing Fitbits. And what if you tried to throw a party for 15,000 people? Where would you even start? We'll talk to David Caruso. He's a local event planner. He's working with the RNC and the host committee on the big kickoff party Sunday night for the convention.
Very much. I've known of David for a while. Never met him in person.
Well, this will be nice. He'll be
very excited to meet him in
He'll be right
person.
in that chair.
He will be, indeed. All right, but first, a week ago, it's already been a week, the day before the 4th of July, a Dane County judge ruled that provisions of Act 10 are unconstitutional and denied a motion to dismiss a case challenging the law.
Act 10 essentially created two groups of public employees, public safety employees like police and fire, for example, and general employees. Now, collective bargaining rights were limited for that general group. The judge ruled that how lawmakers drew that line, saying that state capitol police, for example, are general employees, not public safety employees, that line isn't rational, which makes the whole thing unconstitutional.
Not rational.
That's pretty much everything
yes,
in politics.
Exactly.
And that doesn't set this apart.
Well, so as we know, Act 10 sparked massive protests 13 years ago, and union membership has plummeted in Wisconsin, which has severely curbed unions' influence in our state. And so this all started last fall in 2023 when 7 Wisconsin unions representing teachers and other public workers filed the lawsuit. And like we said, as far as the fact that what it is hinged on is that there are some unions that were separate, that can collective bargain, that some who couldn't. And so when we come back, we are going to talk to Peggy Wirtz Olson, because one of the unions that was the plaintiff in the lawsuit is WEAC, Wisconsin's Education Association Council, which is the Wisconsin Teachers Union, which, as we all know, got the brunt of this.
Yes.
And so when we come back, we will talk to Peggy about the lawsuit, about the decision, what happens from here, and what does it take to start an engine that hasn't been running for 13 years?
I have a theory on that answer, but I'm going to let Peggy answer.
All right.
Because she knows for sure.
Because she knows for sure. All right. Absolutely. All right. Citing Unlimited News Time, 111. This is Spanning the State.
Hot dog, get your hot dogs here. Hot and fresh hot dogs.
Hot diggity dog, it's baseball season. Wisconsin's Afternoon News has partnered up with Vienna Beef to bring you Brewers Ticket Tuesday.
Tune in every Tuesday during the 3 o'clock hour for your chance to win a pair of tickets for an upcoming Tuesday home game for the Milwaukee Brewers.
Nothing says summer like a hot dog in baseball, and we've got both on Wisconsin's Afternoon News.
On the home of the Brewers, WTMJ.
Accunet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Brian Wickert, owner of Wisconsin's own Accunet Mortgage, with a tip for today's home shoppers. You already know inventory is low and both competition and home prices are high. That's probably why you should not go with your bank or your real estate agent's mortgage pal for your pre-approval. You see, the banks have lots of branches, fancy headquarters, vice presidents and assistant vice presidents. And the loan officers who get referrals from real estate agents, they're typically very highly paid. Who do you think pays for all that extra expense? Turns out it's you. High overhead and high compensation naturally translate into higher closing costs. At Accunet, our extreme efficiency and low overhead mean your closing costs are typically $1,000 to $3,000 lower than banks and other lenders for exactly the same rate. Don't light your hard-earned money on fire. Get started with your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval today by clicking on the blue button and put the money you'll save in closing costs towards something for your new home. That's ACCUNET.com.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. Our house was looking kind of drab. Needed a little bit of a facelift, and I found the team that took care of it big time. It's CertaPro Painters. Each business is independently owned and operated right here in Wisconsin. Schedule your free estimate online. It's easy. CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. They will come out and help you protect your home investment with quality painting. It's CertaPro Painters. They are the real deal. They did great work at our house. When choosing a painting professional, the choice is simple. Choose happy. Choose CertaPro Painters.
It is Spanning the State. I'm Brian Noonan.
And I am Kristen Bry. And while you were celebrating last week and maybe taking a short week because of the holiday, a week ago today, the day before the 4th of July, a Dane County judge ruled that provisions of Act 10 are indeed unconstitutional. And so the lawsuit had been filed last year by 7 Wisconsin unions representing teachers and other public workers, one of which is WEAC, Wisconsin's Education Association Council, which is the Wisconsin Teachers Union. Mm-hmm. So joining us now to discuss the lawsuit and what happens next is teacher and WEAC president Peggy Wirtz Olson. Welcome to the show, Peggy.
Good afternoon.
So for people who might have missed last week's news, since it was a holiday, can you summarize Judge Frost's ruling?
Well, the ruling brings us one step closer to our shared goal. And that shared goal for educators like me and other public sector union workers is that Wisconsin's better when all employees have a say in our workplaces. For me, whether that's class size in our schools or school safety, for corrections officers, safety on the job, hours, all of those issues that matter to us as working people in Wisconsin. So really, one step closer to that shared goal to achieve free, fair, and full collective bargaining rights to negotiate with our employers again.
Now, one of the things that came out of this was, or the main thing was, the judge said, well, we can't divide things up. Now, why did this challenge just pop up after 13 years? Or was it something that had been tried before with different wording? Where did this challenge come from?
Well, this lawsuit brings the state's law equal protection claims that have not previously been raised. So this claim spells out how Act 10 preserved collective bargaining rights for a narrowly defined group of public safety employees, but took them away from all others. So the previous lawsuit was filed in federal court and made very different legal claims. This state lawsuit claiming that all working people in Wisconsin should be guaranteed equal rights and freedoms under the Wisconsin Constitution, and that the legislature can establish these arbitrary classifications based on the kind of work we do. This issue has not yet been answered in state court, and we believe this lawsuit will answer that question and determine our freedoms as workers in Wisconsin.
So, as I understand it, as you said, there's certain unions that still had access to collective bargaining and some that didn't. Is there a chance that how this ruling falls down is that no one gets, like, it takes away collective bargaining from those who have it now instead of reinstating it for those who've lost it?
Well, what I want to underscore in today's conversation is that all Wisconsin public workers should have the freedom to negotiate over work-related issues, things like health care coverage, retirement security, paid time off, scheduling, and other workplace policies. Public workers would no longer be forced to vote every year to preserve our unions, right, with this particular challenge that we're looking at, and that once we form a union, we would be free to maintain our organizations and govern them democratically. So really, I want to mention there are no substantial distinctions between this favored class of workers in the law and the disfavored class of workers that the law had created. The judge's ruling last week concurred that there's no rational relationship to the stated budgetary objectives of that law or to any other legitimate state purpose about what the law does.
Okay, Peggy, so the ruling says part of this is unconstitutional. Obviously, there's going to be more review. Are there any immediate effects for WEAC and the other unions who were affected by this?
Well, certainly there are some next steps, right? So our side will file a letter with the court on outstanding issues before a judgment is issued in our favor, including which provisions of the law should be struck down. Then the defendants, including the Republican legislative majority, will get time to respond. So we expect a final order in early August. After that, if its outcome is appealed, then it could go to higher level courts, including the Wisconsin Supreme Court. So we see last week's victory as bringing us one step closer, but notice all of those procedural machinations that have to happen yet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
so depending on what happens in August, is there anything that could change between August and when the Supreme Court would or would not decide to take the case?
That is certainly up for much discussion, and I know that I have no crystal ball. I do know that what we're working toward in winning this lawsuit is all Wisconsin public workers having that freedom to negotiate over work-related issues, including things like we talked about today, that health care coverage, retirement security, paid time off, right? All of those things for me that are important, but also those safety conditions and things that matter in the classroom for my students.
Peggy, before you joined us, Kristen had asked this question, and I have an idea what your answer will be, but I'm going to let you answer it. Of course, you haven't been able to really negotiate for 13 years. The union is still in place, but if this were to go your way, after all the political machinations are done, is it something that the union can just start up right away? Can you start? Are you ready to go from day one to start negotiating, start looking over the contract, start getting back into quote unquote normal union business that you've been prohibited from carrying out for the last 13 years?
I actually love that question, right? Negotiators like me who've been doing this work a very long time are ready to go. And certainly we have, new individuals in school districts and across the state, and we are making sure that they're ready to go as well.
And so what does that look like? I think you just said health insurance, but what are the top 3 things that you feel like are on the negotiating table day one?
Yeah, healthcare coverage, I think, is an important one. Certainly wages, right, beyond CPI is that we're held to right now with the current laws, but healthcare coverage, retirement security, right? I've talked about school safety, working conditions. Man, I know I just hit more than 3 paid time off scheduling.
So there's a lot that you've been maybe daydreaming about. But how much of an impact do you think this will be on recruitment efforts? Because one of the things we've talked about in this show, one of the things that we know across Wisconsin is there's a teacher workforce shortage. And so do you see this as a linchpin in turning that around?
Absolutely. So I know that our schools are better when educators have a voice and a say in the conditions for their students. And I see this as an essential component for really turning around the educator shortage. And not only that, right, we're working in collaboration with other public sector workers, right, who are also seeing shortages. This is Wisconsin's answer to improve these conditions for public workers across the state.
Final question. Have you heard from any of the unions that weren't affected by Act 10 and how their feelings on this?
I am not in close contact with every single public worker in the state. Yeah.
Well, why not?
But what I've heard.
You're not busy? You're not busy?
Over that 4th of July, did I talk to all of them? What I can tell you is I've talked to a lot of our members, and we are not going to rest until we have these rights back as public workers. My colleagues, teachers, education support professionals, right, bus drivers, our folks in our schools working hard with our students, they're ecstatic.
All right.
That's great.
Thank you so much for spending time with us today, Peggy.
Oh, thank you so much.
Peggy Wirtz-Olson is the WEAC president and a teacher, but the WEAC is the Wisconsin's Teachers Union. We're so excited to see what happens next. This is a big story.
It's huge.
All right. When we come back...
I'm just going to leave that hang there.
We're just going to let that hang there. There'll be more.
Ponder.
This is Spanning the State.
The Jolly Roger of Pittsburgh heads to AmFam Field, but the Brewers look to fly the flag of victory over the Pirates.
Fly ball, center field. This is deep. Howman back at the track. Bye-bye baseball! Christian Yelich!
Our Brewers Radio Network game day coverage starts tonight at 6:35.
Drilled in the left. This one's not coming back. Hernandez watching it sail up and out of here.
We are the home of the Brewers. WTMJ.
The July sale on Norwalk Furniture is on now at Ken Michaels Furniture. Save 40% on showroom pieces that are ready for immediate delivery, or in just 35 days, you can create a look that reflects your unique style with over 850 fabric and leather options. From family-friendly to on-point designs, these fabrics are durable and fashionable, and our design service is free to help you put it all together. For better quality American-made upholstery, stop in today and save at any Ken Michaels Furniture locations in Greenfield, Brookfield, or downtown. Get a better night's sleep and save money on a Milwaukee mattress. For over 70 years, our family has been making mattresses and selling them direct to your family. By cutting out distribution costs, you can save up to 50% and get a better night's sleep on a premium mattress. Go green with natural latex. Reduce tossing and turning at night by reducing pressure points on your body. This is one of our most popular mattresses. Stop in today and take a test rest at any of our Ken Michaels Furniture locations in Greenfield, Brookfield, or downtown.
Every so often in medicine, something comes along that is truly revolutionary.
Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, former orthopedic surgeon, now National Medical Director at QC Kinetics.
I believe this is one of those things.
Dr. Scheinkup is talking about regenerative medicine, something he's practiced, researched, and written about for nearly 2 decades.
The old ways of dealing with joint pain, such as steroids and surgery, are no longer the best ways.
If you have pain from arthritis or injury, you owe it to yourself to learn more about this exciting option, using your own body's natural power to get lasting relief. And there's no better place to learn than QC Kinetics.
There is no one in this country today with more clinics, more satisfied patients, more advanced protocols, or more experience in using this exciting option to deliver life-changing results.
Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
At Blaine's Farm and Fleet, we get you the farm supplies you need because we get you. Right now, it's our summer feed sale, so save on the best brands for your animals. Like AgriMaster 16% layer crumble poultry feed, $11.99 each for rewards members when you buy 3. Get $100 off a DeWalt FlexVolt hammer drill and impact driver kit. 15% off assorted Hillman Builders hardware. And all K&N oil filters start at $13.99. We get you what you need because we get you at Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
Spanning the state, I'm Brian Newton.
And I'm Kristen Bry. And we were just talking to Peggy Wirtz Olson, who is the president of WEAC, which is the Wisconsin Teachers Union. Mm-hmm. And I guess we don't know. Like she said, there's a lot of political things that need to happen depending on where the case goes from here. But I am very curious as far as for the public safety employees who've been exempt from the collective bargaining limitations that were from Act 10, how they're feeling about this. Because what I don't think is clear is if with this equal protection clause being the centerpiece of the lawsuit, it seems like either everybody gets it or nobody gets it. And so if there is a chance that some of these police unions and firefighters and such who've been able to continue to negotiate their contracts, all of a sudden nobody gets it. I don't know if they're nervous right now.
I can imagine that yes, they're being nervous. I don't think they're nervous about the other unions getting stuff. I would imagine that they're like, well, the central point of this, they were equating all the different law enforcement officers in the state. They're all doing basically the same thing, but some of them weren't getting the protections. Well, I'm sure those other law enforcement unions are not against that. They're not against teachers being able to bargain, but they would be nervous because there are so many people in the legislature that are still very pro Act 10. That
there's so many people that are still. I mean, we're still on the text line right now, right? As far as, and I mean, if you talk to Steve Scafidi, and there are arguments as far as how much this saved the state.
Right, but my point would be that they would be fearing the legislature, not the other unions. They'd be fearing what the legislature would do if they decided, like you said, if it's everybody or nobody, and they're like, well, we'll risk the portion of people that were still getting it because we're not letting the other unions do this.
Yeah. I don't know. It's fascinating because, as I said, it's not a light switch.
No.
As far as, well, it was legal and now it's legal. Like, I think so much of the conversations around, and while it's definitely confusion, but when Roe versus Wade was overturned and the Dobbs decision came down, there was access to abortion that got turned off. And then as that court case went through and we're still waiting to see what the Wisconsin Supreme Court will say, but it's basically services were available or not available. This feels messier.
It does to a point, but I think the unions, and Peggy alluded to this, I think the union heads, the people who are in charge of or would be in charge of negotiating stuff, they're ready. They have their list of things. I mean, if you're a plumber or if you're a teacher, you know what you need for your job. You know what you, as a union, you know what you would ask for. So they're going to be ready as soon as, if everything goes their way and all the political machinations are taken care of, I would imagine
the word of the day, machinations.
Machinations. I love
I haven't used that
machinations.
word in probably years.
I know, but now we're using it a lot, and I love it. But they'd be ready to go. They'd be ready to go on day one to go, okay, hey, school board, here's what we want.
Yeah.
Here's where we got to get things going.
All right. Well, we'll see in August, I guess, will be the next iteration of that story. All right. But when we come back, how do you measure patriotism? I actually am asking 855-616-1620. How would you measure how patriotic someone is, how patriotic the state is? What do you see as signs of being patriotic beyond maybe having the world's largest American flag? We will talk about that on the other side of this, but ABC News and local headlines are next.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Concerns remain within the Democratic Party over President Biden's ability to win re-election.
Looking past the president's repeated insistence that he's not dropping out, former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says she supports whatever Biden decides to do. She urges those in her party who harbor doubts about the president to keep their feelings private until this week's NATO summit wraps up. That, as George Clooney says in a New York Times op-ed, that Democrats need a new nominee. The prolific Hollywood fundraiser says every senator, member of the House, and governor he's spoken with privately agrees that Biden's presence at the top of the ticket will hurt the party.
ABC's Stephen Portnoy. Former Toronto Raptors star Jonte Porter has pleaded guilty to charges related to illegal betting on NBA games. They include conspiracy to commit wire fraud. In April, the NBA banned Porter from the league for life. Remnants of Beryl bringing heavy rain and the threat of tornadoes to the northeast today. Dangerous triple-digit temperatures keeping a grip on much of the country. This is ABC News.
Saudi Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 1:31. Emergency responders are still on the scene of a tactical event near Caledonia. Multiple jurisdictions are at Cliffside Park right now. Investigators with the Racine County Sheriff's Office tell WTMJ people who live on Mishnah Row between 6 and 7 mile roads are advised to take shelter and avoid the area. We'll have more details throughout the afternoon right here on WTMJ. A judge has rejected an attempt to revive the recall effort targeting Wisconsin Assembly Speaker Robin Vos. Supporters of former President Donald Trump had targeted Vos for recall after he refused calls to decertify President Joe Biden's narrow win in our state. The Dane County judge ruled the organizers' attempt to force a vote under old legislative maps violates the state Supreme Court's order banning the use of those boundaries. And several southeastern Wisconsin farmers markets are joining forces. How about this? Farmers markets in Brown Deer, Oak Creek, and Milwaukee's Jackson Park and River West neighborhoods have formed the Southeast Wisconsin Farmers Market Collaborative. It will gather data to improve customer experiences and boost sales of local products. Time now for news about your money. Here's your WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Everything's still in the green right now, looking good. The Dow is up 193 points to 39,485. S&P 500 is up almost at 38 points to 5,614. And the NASDAQ is up as well, up 178 points to 18,607. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. And taking a look at your roads with the WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. Not too bad right now. In fact, the only things we have are some disabled vehicles out on the system, but I'll let you know about them in case you are headed that way. Closer to the Menominee Falls area, 4145 south at the ramp from Main Street. Right shoulder is blocked there due to a disabled vehicle. We also have up in the Fond du Lac area, if you're headed north, just a little bit north of Fond du Lac, I-41 north at County 00. The right lane is closed due to a fire. And here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Today, high of 77. Tonight, partly cloudy, low of 65. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, high of 80. Friday looks fantastic, mostly sunny, high of 83. Saturday and Sunday, very similar. Saturday, partly cloudy, hot and humid, slight chance of a thunderstorm. It's the same on Sunday, but we're going to be a little bit higher, a little bit hotter. Sunday, high of 92. It's currently 82 degrees in Madison, 75 in Racine, and 76 in Milwaukee. Saudi Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 1:34.
Hey, boaters! Inexperienced boaters are more than welcome here, because at Kendor Marine you'll find all the answers to your questions on parts, installation, troubleshooting, and the best part is, when we figure out what you need, we can grab it from our massive inventory of boat parts and supplies that no one around can match. I'm Dave Doro, and boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin.
Hey, boaters! Cruise to Kendor Marine. We got everything you need but the water.
KendorMarine.com.
Hey, boaters!
Where else are you going to find weather stripping for a 77 Carver? That's what he said, and I don't know the answer to that one, but he sure was glad he found it here. I'm Dave Doro with Kendor Marine, and when it comes to boat parts and supplies, we have it all. If you're a boater and you need it, we got it. And that's why you got to get here. Boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin.
Hey, boaters! Cruise to Kendor Marine. We got everything you need but the water.
KendorMarine.com.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for Inspired Closets, something that can positively affect your mood, getting organized and clearing out the clutter. A well-rounded closet could be the most powerful room in your home. Inspired Closets can transform your closets or laundry room, your pantry, any space in your house. What separates Inspired Closets from the others? Their 3D design software and a culture that promises to build what you want and need. Call my friends Katie and Dan today, a wife-husband team ready to help. Inspired Days start in Inspired Closets. InspiredClosetsMilwaukee.com.
Feeling bullied by your bank?
It's not a hidden fee, it's a surprise fee. Surprise!
Like they're just making things harder.
That's not my department. I got to transfer you.
Or like they don't even know you?
That sounds like a you problem.
At Wintrust, we take a different approach. Whether you need banking solutions, a new home, or help planning your financial future, we've got local experts ready to lend a hand.
Wintrust.
Start banking where you matter at wintrust.com/bully-free. Wintrust. Different approach, better results. Banking products provided by Wintrust Financial Corp. Banks. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Still there. Oh, say, does that star spangled banner?
It seems disrespectful for me to interrupt it, but we do have a show to do. It's Spanning the State. I'm Brian Noonan.
I'm Kristen Bryant. Maybe that was that counts in the unpatriotic.
That I
column.
Interrupted the Star Spangled Banner?
That version of the Star Spangled Banner by Fergie. What was that? 2014? I think it was the All-Star Weekend. Do you not remember when this happened, Brian?
I do. I didn't recognize it was Fergie.
Oh yeah, the internet had a meltdown.
It's nowhere. Roseanne Barr's still the worst Star Spangled Banner performance ever in the history of.
That's close.
At least Fergie we know can sing.
It's true.
So
the reason that
she was
fact
having
that
an
they
off
asked
night,
her, they
Kristen.
thought that it was a bad night. It was a bad night.
I don't know. I was exhausted. I was traveling. I had to go. It was a Super Bowl. Bad night.
Cold.
Yeah.
All right. Well, can the home of the world's largest free-flying American flag really come in 32nd out of all 50 states for patriotism? Do you believe
so.
it?
I do. Well, I was shocked that it was so low. I consider Wisconsin a pretty patriotic place. But then, what do we consider patriotism?
That is the question.
See.
What do you consider patriotism?
To be honest, I consider patriotism the ability to still love the country, but be able to point out its flaws.
Dissent, as they might say?
There's a great, Michael McDermott is a singer-songwriter here, has a song in American and Me is one of his songs, and one of the lines is, don't mistake dissent for disloyalty.
Mm-hmm.
Which to me is very patriotic. We can question what's wrong. We can and still go, the place is worth saving, and that's kind of what I consider patriotism. Or the men and women who serve this country, putting your life on the line for something is very, very patriotic.
Well, that is one of the 13 indicators of patriotism that Wallet Hub used in a survey of all 50 states, in which Wisconsin got 32nd. So there was two categories of the 13 indicators. So there was military engagement and civic engagement. So when it comes to military engagement, it was average military enlistees, number of veterans, active duty military reserves, all per capita, obviously, because different states have different populations.
And then in civic engagement, they were looking at the share of adults who voted in 2020, both in the presidential election and the primaries, the number of people the volunteer rate and the hours that people volunteer, AmeriCorps or Peace Corps volunteers, jury participation, and U.S. history and civic education requirement.
So of those, Wisconsin was 32nd, so in the bottom half, which I was a little surprised at. But are those the best indicators of patriotism? And what's missing from that list? What do you? I guess I don't know how you measure loving a country while still being able to dissent from it. If that is on a number quantitative scale, how you would do that?
You can't quantify it. You have to just yourself. And I think here's the thing. I think patriotism is kind of like faith. It's an internal thing.
Okay.
And you can judge, is the guy who's wearing Stars and Stripes shirts and all that stuff on 4th of July, is he more patriotic than somebody who's quietly working in their community to help not only their community but the country as a whole? Is the showy person more patriotic? I don't think so.
What about paying your taxes? Is that patriotic?
That's just a burden. But it is. Listen, nobody likes paying taxes.
Nobody likes paying taxes, except maybe our next guy.
Maybe.
Our next guest.
Our next guest might. I pay my taxes because I know what I get from my taxes, for the most part. I have roads. I have infrastructure. There's water in my town. My kids can go to school. That's why I pay taxes. I don't do it out of the goodness of my heart.
Jail if you don't?
Well, they don't really put you in jail for what I would owe. They just keep hounding you and adding interest.
All right. Well, our next guest believes that paying your fair share of taxes is patriotic. And so when we come back, we will talk to Morris Pearl, who's a former managing director at BlackRock and also the chairman of the group Patriotic Millionaires, a group of wealthy Americans leading the charge to tax the rich, raise wages, and combat political inequality. We will talk to him on the other side of this. It's Spanning the State.
Hi, folks. This is Hank Albert, owner of BBC Lighting. Now that St. Paul Avenue is finally repaired, parking is easy for shopping at our showroom, where you'll see the newest styles of LED lights, chandeliers, ceiling fans, lamps, and mirrors. We sell every major brand, such as Visual Comfort, Tech, Hubbardton, and hundreds more. And our prices are the lowest. I guarantee it. If it's lampshades or repairs you need, we do all that too. BBC is an illuminating experience for the whole family to enjoy, including our famous free popcorn. We're open Monday through Friday from 9 to 5 and Saturday 10 to 4. BBC is located at 20th and St. Paul Avenue near Potawatomi, Sobelman's, and Bachman Furniture. Stay safe and healthy, my friends.
Church and Chapel Funeral Homes. Family owned, family operated, family priced. Church and Chapel Funeral Homes. There's one near you.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
New windows? Siding Unlimited. Why a siding company? Because Siding Unlimited is so much more than siding. In fact, Pella Window Company of Pella, Iowa, named Siding Unlimited their Platinum Premier Contractor of the Year in the whole USA 4 times. And beyond just swapping windows, they can even put doors in place of windows, or windows in place of doors. Best windows, best installer. Go for the best. SidingUnlimited.com.
Frank Daniels, our Madison goldsmith, has an idea.
Bring him in.
Hey, Rick. Hey, Sarah. Hi, Monica.
It's great to see you, Frank. What's your idea?
It's a new company policy.
Let's hear it.
You know the world-famous Kessler's warranty?
If you bought it at Kessler's, it's guaranteed. It's just that simple. Even if you lose a diamond, including the center stone, we'll replace it. All maintenance is free forever. Yes, it really is that miraculous.
Every time I hear that warranty, it blows my mind.
I propose we have a jewelry cleaning policy that's as amazing as that warranty.
What would it say?
Bring us your jewelry and we will professionally clean it. While you wait, for free. You can come in as often as you want, and we don't care where you bought your jewelry. The only thing that matters is that you want it to look amazing again. We want that too.
I vote yes.
I vote yes. I vote yes. The motion carries.
Congratulations, Frank. Your idea is now company policy.
For the location of the Kesslers nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Connecticut. It is Spanning the State. I'm Brian Noonan.
And I am Kristen Bryan. Remember back a couple years ago when the New York Times came out with a report that showed something like the 25 richest Americans, including Jeff Bezos, Michael Bloomberg, Elon Musk, paid either little to no tax, like federal income taxes. And I feel like us plebeians, which I proudly put myself in there, assume that all uber rich people want to pay as little taxes as possible.
Of course. Why would they want to give the money? I think someone once said only suckers pay their taxes.
Yeah. But apparently that is not the case. At least according to our next guest.
All right.
Morris Pearl is a former managing director at BlackRock and is the chairman of the group Patriotic Millionaires, a group of wealthy Americans which are leading the charge to tax the rich, raise wages, and combat political inequality. Welcome to the show, Morris.
Great to be in your show. Thank you.
So what is the history of this group, Patriotic Millionaires?
Basically, it was created right after the midterm election in 2010. And a bunch of us got together and said it's ridiculous that President Obama was considering renewing the tax cuts from a few years ago for the richest people in America. And we just thought it's ridiculous that rich people are getting a tax cut while so many Americans are struggling to get by. And we sent a letter with 56 rich people signing it, signed the Patriotic Millionaires. And it made the news because everyone thought it was so crazy that rich people want to pay more taxes. We got to stand with the president when he gave his famous Buffett Rules speech. And the thing has taken off ever since. We have hundreds of members from all over the country. They put in enough money to hire a staff of 15 or 20 people. And we go around and we mobilize those people to talk to people like you about why it's not right that rich people pay far lower tax rates than people like you who work for a living.
Well, and that's most people feel the same way. It's nice to hear that people of means also feel that way. But what's the goal? What's the mission of the Patriotic Millionaires? What are you trying to?
Well, the goal. Yeah, I mean, what I see. I'm in my office in New York. We see riots in the streets sometimes. Well, not riots, but protests. And so many Americans think they're being treated like second-class citizens. And they're right. And it's because so many of the rich are getting richer and richer and richer, and so many other people are struggling to get by. And we have to change that. Because if a few people end up with all the money, that's not good. They tried that in South Africa. It did not end well for the rich people when I was a teenager. And so we have to make some changes. I want my children, my granddaughter, to have the kind of opportunities where I grew up to, build businesses and invest money. You can't do that in a country where the few people have all of the money. So we have to change course.
And so what does that look like to change course? Is it as simply as just changing the federal income tax? Is it changing how we tax capital gains? Like, what are you guys actually advocating for?
Well, we're advocating for a lot of things. It's more than just changing the income tax. Part of the problem is that when you're rich, you don't need any income. You're already rich. People like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, they don't have any complicated tax loopholes. They simply don't have any income. They made billions of dollars the way you and I would define making money because the price of their companies has gone up and up and they own billions of dollars worth of stock, but they don't have any income. They don't get a paycheck that has money deducted from it every single week like you do. And so I think we should change that. I think people who make money by having the value of their companies go up, as rich people do, they should pay taxes on that increase in wealth they have the same way you pay taxes on your income, the same way you pay taxes on your wealth, because most of your wealth is, I would guess, the houses that you live in Wisconsin. And so I think that's what we have to do to change that. And so that would at least reduce the huge gap growing between the few haves and the many have-nots.
What are the main impediments to this change happening? Is it lobbyists? Is it the other rich people who are against you? Where does the opposition lie?
Not a lot of people really admit being against us, except Congress people.
Ah, okay.
When we go because they spend all of their time in these little phone booths calling their donors. And they don't have time to talk to a lot of people. They only have time to talk to the small number of people and give them $1,000 and $5,000 donations. Oh, it's so inconvenient to like calculate my taxes every year. It'd be so much simpler if I just didn't pay taxes, and it's such a pain. And they hear that. And after a couple of years, they start believing it. And so this, in the halls of Congress, oh, taxes, everyone's against taxes. No one wants to pay any taxes. We used to have music videos during the Second World War of how proud people were to pay their taxes. Everyone pays taxes. It's a patriotic thing to do. And we have to go back to that kind of attitude that we're all in this together, that it's not going to be any good for the rich people if, so many people are so poor they can't even afford to feed themselves. That doesn't work for anybody.
We're talking to
change the attitude of the country.
We're talking to Morris Pearl, who is the chairman of the group Patriotic Millionaires, about exactly that. Millionaires who want a more equitable outcome instead of the wealth disparities that we're seeing now. When we come back, I want to get to the point of what is rich. What do you, as a rich person, consider rich, and where the discrepancy may come from other people who think they shouldn't pay more in taxes. So we'll get to that on the other side of this. This is Spanning the State.
WTMJ's John Mercure here. Join me as we count down to the RNC in Milwaukee. We'll talk to the biggest names across the political landscape.
The idea of having the convention here is to advertise the city of Milwaukee. And it's not good advertising for the city of Milwaukee if they're throwing Molotov cocktails and overturning cop cars.
Full podcast available on WTMJ.com or text RNC to the Old National Bank Talk and Text line and get a link sent directly to you.
Decision Wisconsin 2024 coverage is presented by Pasternak and Zerga Bell.
The July sale on Norwalk Furniture is on now at Ken Michaels Furniture. Save 40% on showroom pieces that are ready for immediate delivery, or in just 35 days, you can create a look that reflects your unique style with over 850 fabric and leather options. From family-friendly to on-point designs, these fabrics are durable and fashionable, and our design service is free to help you put it all together. For better quality American-made upholstery, stop in today and save at any Ken Michaels Furniture locations in Greenfield, Brookfield, or downtown. Get a better night's sleep and save money on a Milwaukee mattress. For over 70 years, our family has been making mattresses and selling them direct to your family. By cutting out distribution costs, you can save up to 50% and get a better night's sleep on a premium mattress. Go green with natural latex. Reduce tossing and turning at night by reducing pressure points on your body. This is one of our most popular mattresses. Stop in today and take a test rest at any of our Ken Michaels Furniture locations in Greenfield, Brookfield, or downtown.
Since 1964, we've changed your tires and so much more. Richland's Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richland's.
The new fractured boulders we now have in stock are really nice. They're squarer and more rectangular in shape, and they're great for building dry-laid retaining walls. They're much easier to deal with, lock together nicely, and you get less gaps. No wet mortar needed. And we've stocked a multitude of colors. You can use them as an accent item to add character to your dry river or creek beds, too. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential. Visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. Our organic mulch is comprised of all trees. Most mulch is made from ground-up pallets, and you don't know what might have been spilled on those pallets. Could be chemicals or who knows what. But not our mulch, we're recycling trees. Many species of hardwoods. Cedar, hemlock, light brown, dark brown, mocha, black, red, gold, and caramel. 7 colors to choose from means a mulch to match any exterior. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential. Visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection.
For the last 16 years, we've been hosting private tours throughout the city's most delicious eateries, iconic breweries, and cultural neighborhoods. I'm Teresa from Milwaukee Food and City Tours. Let us plan your next team outing on our Brady Street Lunch Tour. Kick off your besties bachelorette weekend with a Bloody Mary brunch or on our super fun tacos and tequila tour. And celebrate your next birthday on our famous pizza bus tour. Schedule your next outing with a private bus or walking tour at MilwaukeeFoodTours.com.
All right, Charles. We love you too. It is Spanning the State. I'm Brian Noonan.
And I'm Kristen Bryan. We are talking to Morris Pearl, former managing director at BlackRock and chairman of the group Patriotic Millionaires, a group of wealthy Americans leading the charge to tax the rich and fight political inequality. And so when you say the rich, who are you talking about? Are you talking about people who make like $500,000 to $1 million a year, or who's in that group?
I'm talking about people who either earn more than $1 million a year or are millionaires that have millions of dollars worth of assets that, they've invested. And, we don't go around and audit our members. If somebody says they qualify as a millionaire, we accept them into our group. So that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about people that make a few $100,000 a year, your surgeons and lawyers and stuff. We're talking about people who make $1 million or millions of dollars a year. Those are the people who we think, can afford to pay at least the same tax rates as people who work for a living.
Morris, there was a really great quote from you on the website. Do you consider yourself more altruistic than other people?
Well, I don't consider myself particularly altruistic. I mean, I sometimes am. But really, I'm doing this because I want to give my children and my granddaughter the kind of country to grow up in that I had to grow up in. So, yeah, I'm not doing this out of strictly altruistic reasons. I'm doing this because I want something. It's just I happen to want something different than what Elon Musk apparently wants.
You said you wanted to be a rich man in a rich country, which sounds like a noble cause. Tell everybody about the book that is out that they can get and read up on this.
So the first book we did is Tax the Rich. And we basically explained how it is the U.S. tax code has rich people paying far lower taxes than people who work for a living, and the specific ways that happens, most of which is that rich people just don't have to have any income. And currently the book that we're putting out for the end of the year is Pay the People, about why so many of us will be so much better off if the wages are higher and the minimum wage is higher.
All right. Well, Morris Pearl, super interesting stuff. Definitely goes against what I think a lot of us think of when we think of wealthy people and taxes. But thanks so much for your time today.
You made me think better of the rich, Morris. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're
Great
welcome.
to be on your show.
All right. Citing Unlimited News Time, 1:57. It's Spanning the State.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Stay and play in Lake Geneva, the Midwest's premier golf destination. With 10 challenging courses for all abilities and skill levels, breathtaking views, crystal clear lakes, and rolling fairways. Enjoy an all-inclusive golf getaway with luxurious lodging, distinctive dining, and a relaxing spa. Plan a group golf outing, a corporate event, or a weekend getaway with friends or family. For course information and more, go to visitlakegeneva.com. Lake Geneva. It's always been the place for legendary golf.
This is Matt Meitner, owner of Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Do you find yourself talking to your dog but feel like she's not listening to you?
Bella, sit!
Are you constantly repeating yourself but she's not following your directions?
Sit! Sit!
Frustrating, isn't it? At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we want to help you have a happy, confident, and obedient dog, and we also want to make the training process an enjoyable and worthwhile experience. Contact Sit Means Sit today to schedule a free consultation so we can create a customized training program so you are able to have the dog you want and deserve.
Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Sorry, we don't train husbands, wives, or kids.
The Vollrath Company implemented a DocuWare content management solution from James Imaging Systems. Vollrath Director of Information Systems, John Sharp.
They've helped us upgrade from a previous version of our document management to automate our accounts payable processes, to store the invoices, do the three-way match, and really streamline those processes.
In addition to a DocuWare content management solution, the key to continued success is the James Imaging Systems Solutions Group.
And as an extension of our team, they've got intimate knowledge of why we've done some of the things that we do. And when we run into any issues, they're there to support us.
A DocuWare content management solution from the James Imaging Systems Solutions Group.
They know exactly where we are in our project cycle so that we've always got continuous improvement.
Content management and workflow automation from James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner. Call 262-781-7700 or visit jamesimaging.com.
When you breathe well, you live better. Find out more at adventknows.com.
These pirates are a long way from sea. Time to rock the boat.
Right at the fence. Back she goes. Goodbye, Blake Perkins.
Our Brewers Pirates coverage begins tonight at 6 with Brewers Warm-Up on your home for the Brewers. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 2 o'clock, it's 76 degrees in Milwaukee. Tonight, partly cloudy. Calm wind. Tomorrow, partly cloudy as well. The high will be 80 degrees. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, multiple jurisdictions are responding to a wooded area near Caledonia for what is being called a tactical event. People were sent notifications saying to stay in their basement and away from windows. Racine County Sheriff's officials tells WTMJ that residents between Michna Road, between 6 and 7 Mile Road are advised of this. We'll have more details throughout this afternoon on WTMJ. We're working to confirm more information that we're just learning. Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson remains steadfast in his support of President Biden.
During a virtual call with mayors from across the country, President Biden admitted his debate performance wasn't good, but that he's in it to win it.
Folks have said the president ought to move aside or whatever the case may be. He says, no, I'm staying in the race. We're not going to thwart the democratic process.
Mayor Johnson was on the call. He tells Wisconsin's Morning News he's confident Biden will be the nominee. He added,
you don't vote just for one person. You vote for an administration. You vote for a direction for the country.
Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
New data from Milwaukee Police indicates the number of homicides in the city is down compared to this time last year, while carjackings and robberies are up. The city has seen 61 homicides for the first 6 months of this year, down from 105 in 2022. Carjackings this year are up 26% compared to 2022. Police Chief Jeffrey Norman says the department has identified carjacking groups from Illinois targeting our city.
Carjackings are a crime of opportunity. Often those engaged in this behavior target victims who are not paying attention to their surroundings or may be distracted. Walking, driving, or parked waiting, I want to encourage everyone, get off your phone. Yes, I said that. Get off your phone.
Time for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is currently up 248, S&P 500 up 40, NASDAQ up 176. Everything in the green. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Sighting Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 2:03.
Boy, it can be so expensive to dine out, but not at the family-owned Mineshaft restaurant in Hartford. WTMJ's John Mercure here, and the Mineshaft has lowered the price of their Wednesday and Friday fish fry. To listen closely, $6.99, and it's all you can eat. $6.99. For smaller appetites, the two-piece dine-in fish fry is $4.99. What a value. Kids 5 and under eat free today from the kids menu. That's right, free. And they can safely play in that world-class game room quietly tucked away from the dining area. You can also build your own big burger or chicken sandwich today with a huge pile of hot fries for under $10. The Mineshaft right there in beautiful downtown Hartford and in Oshkosh with lots of seating, plenty of close parking, fired up air conditioner. It's big food. It's big fun. No reservations needed. Just walk in today for your all-you-can-eat fish fry for under $10. The best part of the meal, desserts, are buy one, get one free. Welcome to the cool and comfortable Mine Shaft Restaurant.
Rose Gray here from Fox World Travel. Don't miss the largest vacation sale in the nation. It's the Fox World Travel exclusive July sale with Apple Vacations. We have a huge selection of resorts at our favorite destinations in Mexico and the Caribbean, paired with nonstop flights to get you there fast. If you like saving, you do not want to miss this sale. Plus, enter for a chance to win an all-inclusive vacation. Visit foxworldtravel.com/July and get on the exclusive list. That's foxworldtravel.com/July.
Don't think twice. Call Geis. Since 1955, Geis has been the trusted garage authority in Wisconsin. Hey, don't let a busted garage door get you down. Call my friends at Geis today. With brands like CHI and LiftMaster, they have doors for every budget. They'll even build custom designs to meet your exact needs. For swift and reliable garage repair solutions, go to geisdoors.com. You can also visit their amazing showroom in Brookfield featuring hundreds of doors and openers and their custom design room.
Don't think twice. Call Geis.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. After dropping the opening game of a 3-game series with the Pirates Tuesday night, last night, Brewers took a bounce back tonight in Game 2. They hope so. Coverage begins at 6 o'clock right here on WTMJ. Our Bucks sign a veteran forward, Torian Prince, as a free agent contract. Prince has averaged just over 10 points per game over 8 seasons in the NBA. Taking a look at the roads, their WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. 4194 south, the ramp from Ryan Road. Expect lane closures because there's debris on the road by Oak Creek. And by Menominee Falls, 4145 south of the ramp from Main Street. The right shoulder is blocked because of a disabled vehicle. And also we have that tactical situation on Michna Road in Caledonia between 6 and 7 Mile Roads. People are advised to not be in that area at this time.
Traffic is sponsored by the Heiser Automotive Group. Come in and make that deal. Visit Heiser Automotive Group with 4 convenient locations or online at heiser.com. Ford, Chevy, Toyota, Lincoln, and Cadillac. Today's your day.
Isolated pop-up showers possible today. The high will be 77. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, a low of 65. Thursday, partly cloudy, a high of 80. Friday, mostly sunny, a high of 83. And Saturday, partly cloudy, hot and humid, a high of 87. Sunday, partly cloudy, hot and humid, a high of 92 degrees. The current temperature in Madison is 81, Green Bay 78, Waukesha 80 degrees, and Milwaukee 76 degrees. Citing Unlimited WTMJ News Time approaching 2:07.
It's time to take a spin around Wisconsin and find stories you might have missed. Here's Spinning the State on Spanning the State with Kristen Bry and Brian Noonan.
Every day after 2 o'clock, we spin around Wisconsin and highlight some stories you might have missed. If you want some more details on it, you can always text SPIN, S-P-I-N, to 855-616-1620. But for now, we will spin and see where we go.
Kenosha. All right. Well, Kenosha isn't alone when it comes to looking for ways to provide more housing for residents. But one way the city's solutions may come is in the unique shape of 6 schools that were permanently closed at the end of this school year. So the Kenosha Unified School District approved a district consolidation and downsizing plan last December to help close a $15 million deficit. The result was closing the 6 schools that now might provide affordable housing for Kenosha residents under a plan being considered between the district and city officials. Patrick Finnemore, School District Facilities Director, told WPR that the vacant school buildings could end up bringing more people and essentially more children to Kenosha. He said each site has been looked at and evaluated for redevelopment, and some of the hurdles that need to be to overcome are the age of the building, which they're 100 years old, there's no AC, and no elevators.
They would that would be tough, a tough sell now, but you can retrofit stuff.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, the old Journal Sentinel building that's down by Fiserv, that's all housing now. I don't think it's affordable housing, but it is. But
fancy housing.
They took a really old building and retrofitted that to be able to accommodate apartments.
And schools are not, what are they, 2-3 stories maybe at the most.
Yeah.
So, they'd have to do something for the first floor apartments to make them handicap accessible, but people walk up 2 flights to apartments all the time.
Or maybe they'll just add an elevator.
Maybe they will. So that's, good for them. I hope it works out.
Get creative.
Yes, because we've got a lot of buildings. And one of the other comments in that story was from a city official just saying vacant buildings are not good for any city. So why would we want to leave these empty?
That is my biggest gripe is when you walk down the street and just vacant storefronts that landlords are just sitting on
just
because
waiting.
they can.
Yeah.
Because it's a tax write-off.
Exactly. Oh, millionaires need to pay their taxes. Anyway, let's spin again.
Green Bay.
Kristen, I know you will correct me if I say this in error, but it wouldn't be an election in Wisconsin without another school referendum.
They
correct?
are popular, yeah.
People love the referendums. This November might not disappoint in Green Bay, where the school district is proposing a $183 million capital referendum be added to the ballot. Now, according to the Green Bay Press-Gazette, most of the money would be used for adding spaces and remodeling schools. The changes are needed to accommodate new student numbers brought on by boundary changes and school consolidations. So the board is also expected to vote on the final projects that would be included in this referendum by later this month. According to the district, now this is the big gripe when a lot of people hear, another school referendum. The district is saying the rate at which property owners are being taxed now would not go up. I don't know how that's possible.
I don't know how that's possible either.
But that was what they said.
All right.
Take it.
So I guess once the referendum is written and
then you'll be able to see
approved
it
to be on the
again.
ballot, we will see what it says and what the ramifications
Because
are.
I looked and I looked and then I came back again and it's that's it. They're saying it's not going to change it.
Okay.
The rate at which the district will tax property owners should not go up. So
Operative word.
They're leaving the door open a crack, but it shouldn't go up. We don't know though for sure.
Hopefully they do before people vote on it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, shall we?
Milwaukee.
All right, Milwaukee. Well, sometimes even when you bend the knee, it doesn't get you an invite to the ball. 2 prominent Republicans who challenged Donald Trump in the primaries have been notified they will not be speaking next week at the RNC. But it's not like Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis haven't been trying to mend fences with Trump. Haley has released her delegates and encouraged them to support Trump. And DeSantis has endorsed him. But as the French say, c'est la vie.
Too little, too late.
Or that too. Such is life. Haley will not be attending the convention because, according to her spokesman, she wasn't invited. And DeSantis will be in town, but on the periphery of the convention, participating in a panel discussion and having breakfast with the Florida delegation.
Will he be serving the breakfast, or is he?
No.
Get to sit
But
down?
it goes to show, if you come for the king, you best not miss.
True. And I knew what c'est la vie meant. I was just adding something to it, just to clarify. All right, yes, they came for the king, and they left him standing. So
I'm guessing neither of them will be vice president.
I'm guessing not, unless he's playing the long game and he's going to choose Nikki Haley, but he didn't invite her to the convention, so she's like sitting home moping. And then they do like a publisher's clearinghouse where they just knock on the door and they have a big VP
He's just
certificate.
negging her?
Yeah. Oh, is that what? Oh, wow. You're going deep with the pickup artist game.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Have you read that book?
No, but I know the term. Because I was such a pickup artist. I wore the big fur hat, the whole thing. The ladies loved it. All right, one more spin. I like that you were so shocked that I had heard
Monona.
about that. Monona. If you dream of opening a vape shop, and what small child doesn't, stay out of Monona, if that's your dream. For now, anyway. The city's in the midst of a 6-month moratorium on vape shops to address health and safety concerns that were raised by city officials. Now, this moratorium prevents retailers from obtaining zoning and building permits to sell e-cigarettes. This came after the city council rejected the opening of a 4th vape shop because, it was really close to schools, and they didn't think that was a good idea. So Monona City Administrator claims the purpose of the moratorium is to you keep moving your thing over my thing, is to determine the appropriate number of vape shops for a city of only 8,500 people, and they already have 3 vape shops. That I would think that's enough.
A lot of vape shops.
Yeah, but who am I? So it affects vape shops that have 10% or more of their floor space devoted to e-cigarettes and related paraphernalia, which is a weird word to spell and much easier to say. But so Monona not putting up with how many vape
Which
shops
I think that makes sense
need?
because how many isn't there zoning laws as far as how many liquor stores and
there's all
maybe
kind
not
of,
in Wisconsin, but in general, like there's usually a limitation on how much the concentration of
and
that.
when
right?
there's not, you really see how some businesses take hold. For example, the suburb I used to live in, they started having those gaming parlors. They call them casinos, but it's like a storefront that has video gaming in it, and that's all. And they serve, they have a small bar, but it's basically for slot machines and stuff. Our town became overrun with them.
Really?
Yes, and people were out of their minds because the downtown area was, they were opening right across the street from each other. Every corner had one of these, and it was because the officials were getting a little taste. And so they didn't care how many gaming things. And then all of a sudden it was like, boy, this town is awful. It's just nothing but skeezy gaming facilities. Skeezy. Ugh. Anyway, that's it. That's how we span the state. Sometimes we have strong feelings. Sometimes we just span for fun. Sometimes we spin around until we're dizzy. But if you missed any details, you can text SPIN, S-P-I-N, to 855-616-1620. When we come back, it's difficult enough for us to maintain our fitness and monitor how we're doing with our heart and our sleep and our food consumption. How hard must it be for a cow? Well, some people are turning to technology to help them keep their cows fit with a little bit. We'll talk about that after this and more. It's Spanning the State.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scafidi. I talk a lot about politics, but sometimes I just want to sit back and have a nice conversation about, whatever I want to on the Scafidiology podcast. My old radio partner, Carol Kane.
Hi, buddy. I don't spit on your Italian stuff.
Don't you miss this? Let me ask you about current events, politics.
Oh.
Do you think about politics? Because, when we did our show, we parsed all this stuff out,
Here's
right?
the thing.
You can listen to this conversation or any of my Scafidiology conversations wherever you get your podcast or at WTMJ.com.
Hey boaters, cruise to Kendor Marine. We've got everything you need but the water. Got an old boat, a new boat in between. Kendor Marine, upholstery and parts, hard to find things. Kendor Marine. Hey boaters, cruise to Kendor Marine. We've got everything you need but the water. Everything you need but the water. Hey boaters, cruise to Kendor Marine. We've got everything you need but the water. Like a boat-loving kid in a candy store. Kendor Marine. If you have a question, we have the expertise at Kendor Marine. Hey boaters, cruise to Kendor Marine. We've got everything you need but the water.
Easy to find at 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin or KendorMarine.com.
Fleet Farm is here to help you get ready for fun on the water. This week, get 25% off our entire selection of water towables. Single, double, even triple rider inflatables. They're all on sale. Plus, don't miss Kids Fishing Day, Saturday, July 13th from 10 a.m. through 1 p.m. We'll be hosting fun, interactive fishing lessons and games for kids of all ages. Find great deals on everyday summer fun at Fleet Farm.
It's Spanning the State. I'm Kristen Bry.
And I'm Brian Noonan. Do you wear a smartwatch or a Fitbit or a tracker?
I occasionally wear my Apple Watch, but then it will die, and so I have to take it off, and I charge it, and I forget to put it back on. So the consistency of my data on my health and my steps, inconsistent.
I used to wear a Fitbit, and I would track my steps all the time. I didn't do the other stuff like the sleeping and this and that because I know I don't sleep. But and then I forget, something happened to it, and I stopped wearing it, and I missed knowing how many steps, because I would always shoot for at least 10,000 steps a day.
Which is not easy to attain. I had a step challenge, my husband's new job in, I don't know, January or February. It was a company-wide step challenge, and spouses were invited to join. And I had just started here and realized how little I was moving in a day. And like the conscious effort to try to get to 10,000 steps was definitely conscious. Like it was not easy.
You think you walk a lot until you look down and go, what? 500 steps? Yeah. That can't be. So that's why school was good for that, because I would get a lot of steps in at school. But anyway, as hard as it is for us, because we're doing this to make sure that we're healthy and that we're eating correctly and that everything is good. Imagine the lowly cow who wanders about. No one knows. How do they keep track if they're healthy, if they're eating, if they're sleeping, what they're doing? Well, technology has come to the rescue, and a number of farmers are now using Fitbit type, they're calling it, to be careful of any sort of trademark infringement, Fitbit type devices to track their cows. Because one farmer, the owner of On-Q Holsteins, LLC, said, with milk prices being more depressed and farms getting larger, we need to rely on cool technology.
Do they need to, or they just want to?
I would imagine you need to, right? Because if the cows are your moneymaker, you don't want, some of them off in the corner just hanging out, not doing anything all day, just laying around. You want to make sure they're eating and healthy. So it's hard because you have to track them 24/7.
Okay.
And once you're herd, right? That's a herd of cows.
Sure. Yeah.
Your 250 plus head of cattle. You can't watch them all the time. You've got other things to do. You got to get your steps in. So a number of years ago, a lot of these farmers started using their collars. So the collars, well, you know where a collar goes. The main goal of these collars is to make sure each cow is happy and healthy. I don't know how it measures the happiness of a cow.
Ask California. Because California says they have the happiest cows.
The happy cow commercial.
You looked at me you're like, what are you talking about?
No, it took me a minute to remember. Yes, because listen.
They clearly figure out how to measure the happiness of cows.
Yeah, but that's because most of the people out there, maybe even the cows, are a little bit stoned. And listen, California, let's be honest.
That's in the hay?
You and I both live there.
Cannabis?
Yes, they roll it up. That's what those big rolls out in the field are. It's not hay for the cows to eat. It's edibles for them to get high. Yeah, just giant edibles. But they think they can rival Wisconsin when it comes to cheese production and dairy production.
Well,
That's why they
definitely do beat us in dairy production. But
listen,
happy cows?
No, happy cows.
I've seen Harris Ranch. Those don't look happy.
I've looked at a lot of cows. I can't tell. They have good poker faces. I can't tell their emotions at all. But that's the goal. They got to wear these things. So they wear them around their neck, and it tracks their chewing, which creates a baseline for what they do on a daily basis. Each cow then creates their own normal tracking. So maybe you chew a lot more than I do. Maybe I just chew slow because I'm lackadaisical in my eating habits. Maybe you chew fast because you're energetic and you want to keep moving on to the next cow thing that you have to do. Well, that's okay. We each, as cows, have our own health baseline that the farmer can look at. And they're also used for figuring out, listen, I'm not saying this to be scurrilous, but they use the collars to find out when the cows are in heat.
Oh.
Yes, for breeding. Because that's one of the other major reasons that they have the collar.
So it takes their temperature.
Yeah, I guess. And I'm not a dairy farmer, but I guess you got to know when the...
the same thing happens to women, too. Their temperature goes up.
Well, yeah, but I'm not tracking you like a lunatic.
That's how women...
I know how women do it. I don't, I guess I didn't realize the cow... No, I know biology. I just didn't know that, the farmers are sitting there, oh, Bessie's ready to go. And then they let the bulls out.
Well, actually, fun fact, mostly it's not a bull anymore. It's usually artificial insemination.
I know, but I didn't want to picture the big, long glove. So I just...
You'd rather picture the bull?
Yes, that's natural. I don't want to see a guy with a glove up to his shoulder doing his business. And listen, that's why I admire farmers. So this is not when I say that, it's not to make fun of the process. I know it has to be done. I'm really glad I don't have to be the guy doing it. Mm-hmm. All right. So there you go. Cows with Fitbits. Who'da thunk it? We did, and we told it to you here on Spanning the State.
WTMJ's John Mercure here. Join me as we count down to the RNC in Milwaukee. We'll talk to the biggest names across the political landscape.
The idea of having the convention here is to advertise the city of Milwaukee. And it's not good advertising for the city of Milwaukee if they're throwing Molotov cocktails and overturning cop cars.
Full podcast available on WTMJ.com or text RNC to the Old National Bank talk and text line and get a link sent directly to you.
Decision Wisconsin 2024 coverage is presented by Pasternak and Zergabel.
For your next exterior remodeling project, we know you're not asking a lot from us. You want the right products for your situation, you want a few different financing options that can make your project affordable, and you want us to do a good job with minimal disruption to your life. And this one's important. You want a warranty that matters. And we know that checking every box makes all the difference. You might be surprised at how many moving parts go into it, but we have just the right people in all the right places to pull that off every day and make it look easy. The company we have took us 21 years to build. It's an awesome place to work because we never stop improving it, and we think we can do this work so well that we can actually change the reputation of exterior remodelers long term. This is Brad Youngluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
Ask about our finance options.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Brian Wickert, owner of Wisconsin's own AccuNet Mortgage. I get that most home shoppers just go with their bank when it comes to getting pre-approved, but that's probably a mistake because banks have a lot of overhead, like branches, fancy headquarters, and layers of management. That means their closing costs are typically $1,000 to $3,000 higher than AccuNet's for exactly the same rate. And that's not all. Bank pre-approval letters are usually weak and unconvincing, especially compared to AccuNet's rock-solid, fully verified pre-approval that provides a $2,000 guarantee to you and the seller. Our senior loan consultants will also look at every possible way to strengthen your offer and pre-approval in the eyes of that seller, especially if you're offering over the asking price. We even call the listing agent to reinforce what a great buyer you are. Banks don't do all that. Click on the blue button today at AccuNet.com and let our passionate mortgage pros help you win while you save a bunch of money, too. That's ACCUNET.com.
New windows? Siding Unlimited. Why a siding company? Because Siding Unlimited is so much more than siding. In fact, Pella Window Company of Pella, Iowa, named Siding Unlimited their Platinum Premier Contractor of the Year in the whole USA 4 times. And beyond just swapping windows, they can even put doors in place of windows, or windows in place of doors. Best windows, best installer. Go for the best. SidingUnlimited.com.
Girl, look at that body. Girl, look at that body. Girl, look at that body. I work out. Girl, look at that body. Girl, look at that body.
It's Spanning the State. I'm Kristen Bry.
I'm Brian Noonan, and I wish I could bring you all into the studio during the breaks when Julia comes in and gets ready for the news and the conversations we have. It's enlightening, if nothing else.
You want to tell them what we were just talking about?
Well, I was sitting just enjoying your tampon conversation.
Yeah.
I didn't really, I know.
There's big news today about tampons.
Well, what is the big news?
So the big news is basically that there is an absorbable amount of heavy metals in some of the bigger brands of tampons.
Including arsenic, which is not safe at all. It's like a poison.
And so it's lead and arsenic. A new study finds lead and arsenic in tampons. But don't panic, experts say. At least this is the article I just pulled up right away.
Is it a male expert who said that? Ladies,
no, I
don't
mean,
panic.
it's just...
And I was saying that I haven't used a tampon in a decade. I only use pads because I knew that was, kind of a risky thing to put up.
Well, there was bleached cotton, right? So putting something that is...
Is it bleached cotton? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when it shreds a little bit and there's fibers everywhere, I'm like, I'm not doing this.
So just another thing that they've put on the market for women to consume and put in or on their bodies that is not very good for us.
The applicator is also plastic, and we
Didn't
know
they used to
about-
be cardboard? The applicator?
Yes, good, Brian.
I've been around a while.
There's some
Julia.
that still are cardboard.
Are they still? Yeah, I don't.
So I mean, I don't know. It's a really concerning thing because John was asking, okay, could it cause anything? And I'm like, well, there's lots of cervical cancers. I'm not trying to equate it yet. I don't know, but heavy metals, toxic, and arsenic, yeah, that can be a component for something not good in your body.
How did it take so long? Does it say in the story how did it took so long for this to finally come out?
Just a new study that just came out, and why haven't we been looking into this earlier?
But it's also, I think it's also when we think about PFAS, which we talk about all the time now, right? Which have been around since the 40s, as far as, and like the ability that, or the increase of what they're in beyond just fire extinguishers, of Teflon, everything, anything that is water resistant, but also everything, again, when it comes to women's products, all of your waterproof, water resistant makeup that you're putting on your skin or on your eyelashes, again, not good for you. But we didn't know that for a long time.
There was also
look pretty, don't you?
PFAS found, well, this was by the Environmental International Journal that did this, but I saw another one where PFAS were found in some beers that sourced...
Hold on, now you got my attention.
That sourced water from the Great Lakes. And they would not say which ones on the market are safe or not safe, or which ones tested positive. And with this study with the tampons, they tested 30 different tampons from 14 brands, and they found about 16 of them tested positive, but they're not saying which brands.
Which ones? Wow. Well, that's helpful. It's
so
good.
helpful.
Get a moon cup.
That's what. Oh yeah, that's what Kristen uses.
Well, this is exciting.
This was a lot of information about Julia and I today.
There's a lot of information in a few minutes. When it was like, what are we going to talk about before the news? Well, I guess we found out. ABC News and local headlines are next.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. As calls grow within the Democratic Party for President Biden to step aside as the nominee, the president is getting out to shore up support, visiting the headquarters of the largest labor union today in Washington, D.C., touting his record to create union jobs and expand American-made products.
I've never been more optimistic about America's chances, not because of me, but because of what we're doing together. I really mean it. We're better positioned than any country in the world to own the remainder of the 21st century because of union labor.
The president also spoke at today's session of the NATO summit, telling members that the defense alliance is stronger than it's ever been in its 75-year history. Dangerous triple-digit temperatures keeping a grip across much of the country this week, taxing fire crews trying to battle multiple wildfires in western states, and remnants of Beryl now targeting the Northeast, raising the threat of flash flooding and possible tornadoes. This is ABC News.
Citing Unlimited WTMJ News Time, 2:31. I'm Julia Fellow. Your top story, U.S. Marshals have arrested 260 people as part of a wide-ranging operation labeled Big Top. The fugitive task force, including 29 homicide arrests and nearly $85,000 in U.S. currency. The arrests were made between April 1st and June 30th, attempting to coincide with months leading up to increased summer activity. An Elmbrook school board member has been charged with felony domestic abuse. The criminal complaint alleges it was all over a pan left in the sink. Preetha Kurdidan is accused of hitting her husband with a bottle and broke his nose after he allegedly shoved her to the ground during a day-long argument in November of last year. She faces up to 3.5 years in prison if convicted. A judge has rejected an attempt to revive the recall effort targeting Wisconsin Assembly Speaker Robin Vos. Supporters of President Donald Trump had targeted Vos for recalls after he refused to decertify the election in 2020. The Dane County judge yesterday ruled the organizers' attempt to force a vote under the old legislative maps violates the Supreme Court's order barring the use of those boundaries. Time for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is up 259, S&P 500 is up 43, NASDAQ is up 182. Get an honest opinion of where you are financially and where you're headed. Work with a fee-only fiduciary. Start at annexwealth.com. Taking a look at your roads with the WTMJ Johnson Sons Paving Time Saver traffic. We see I-94 westbound is closed beyond the ramp from County SS because there is a fire. I'm trying to look at some of the DOT cameras there, but we also see I-94 just from County SS in the westbound lanes. It is completely closed down, and it keeps on piling up there, so be aware of that. Also seeing a ramp from 4194 north to 4143 894 west. The right shoulder is blocked because of a crash. Your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Tonight, It'll be partly cloudy with a low of 65. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, a high of 80. Friday, mostly sunny, a high of 83. Saturday, partly cloudy, hot, humid, slight chance of thunderstorms, a high of 87. Sunday, really hot and humid, a high of 92 degrees. In Madison's 81, in Green Bay it's 78, and in Milwaukee it's 76 degrees. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 2:34.
We asked people why they sold their homes to Grandview Homes instead of using a real estate agent.
I decided that spending the time and money to rehab the unit and sell it through conventional means was not in my best interest. They give you a fair price offer, close quickly, and pay promptly. The process with Grandview was virtually effortless.
Whether you have a hard-to-sell home, want a stress-free sale, or simply need to sell your home fast, Grandview Homes is the name you know and the name you can trust. Visit GrandviewHomes.com to discover the easiest and fastest way to sell a home.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guest, Siding Unlimited. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. And at 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact Annex Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at annexwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
You know this already. Inflation is sticky. You see it on the news. You feel it at the grocery store. It's the involuntary pay cut no one wants and that we can't seem to shake. Annex Wealth Management wants to help. Now is the time to download 7 strategies you can use in an environment with elevated inflation. Learn how real assets can help, which tax-efficient strategies to consider, and one way to increase Social Security benefits. It's a free download and available now. Go to annexwealth.com/inflation.
Adrian was seriously injured when a careless driver merged into her lane.
Gruber was there for everything that I needed. Any questions that I had, Gruber was there. They made me feel like everything about my situation and my accident was very important to them, and that made me feel good. And I would definitely call Gruber again for that.
Serving Wisconsin for over 35 years, Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
They go above and beyond for their clients.
We like to party.
Welcome back to Spanning the State. I am Kristen Bry.
And I'm Brian Noonan, and we can't reiterate it enough. The Republican National Convention is coming to town next week. The first impression that many of the RNC attendees will get of Milwaukee is going to take place Sunday on the Summerfest grounds, where the Milwaukee Host Committee welcomes an expected 15,000 people to their Red, White, and Brew party. The event's been organized by a partnership between the Milwaukee Host Committee, the RNC, and the newly formed 414 Council. Mounting an event this size is, well, a daunting undertaking to say the least. David Caruso has been a premier event planner, media personality, speaker, curator, and consultant for over 20 years. He's been working closely with the host committee to ensure that the event goes off without a hitch. David's here to pull back the curtain and tell us how a party like this comes to be. David, thanks for being here. We appreciate it. It's got to be.
It is my pleasure. I think you guys really have the first preview, to be honest.
This is, well, great. I can't imagine. How far in advance does planning a party for 15,000 people begin?
Well, that is going to surprise you. I have been
I'm going to the first meeting in 10 minutes.
No, not quite that drastic. But alongside Magic Productions, which is a Waukesha-based company that is producing the event, I'm the creative director. We actually really started full steam ahead just around Memorial Day.
Oh, wow.
So it has been fast and furious, but we are so excited to welcome people on Sunday. It really is going to be a special experience at Henry Meyer Festival Park.
And so with 15,000 people, it's closed to the press, which I thought is interesting as far as we will not be able to attend. And so I think, most of the people in this building, people listening, know what it's like to go to the Summerfest grounds. We were just there the last 3 weekends. What's going to be different? Is there anything special for this event that is unlike the other festivals that we typically go to?
It is going to be very different in lots of ways. Certainly what is so special about where Henry Meyer Festival Park is located is that it is on the spectacular lakefront. So that is one thing that we, of course, are so excited to share with people when they arrive to the Festival Park grounds. But Red, White, and Brew has been concepted to be something totally unique for the grounds. Unlike the ethnic festivals or unlike Summerfest itself, it is still obviously going to be a celebration of music and entertainment, but it really has been crafted to be a celebration of all things Wisconsin and Milwaukee that are related to food and beverage and how it looks and what the vibe is like and different experience zones. So really what people can expect is to experience what we want them to feel when they arrive to Milwaukee that we think is a great, fun representation of our fabulous state of Wisconsin.
So what are these experience zones? Can you spill some tea?
I might be spilling a
Did
little
you sign
too
an
much.
NDA or just like Top Chef?
Yeah, what can you tell us?
I will say what I can say.
Okay, good.
But the, for us, what Magic Productions, myself, the host committee, we really did spend quite a bit of time thinking about feedback from other convention goers in other states and cities. Yeah. So we kind of started by, hey, what did you like about these welcome parties in other cities for other conventions? And then, of course, we wanted to make ours spectacular and perfect in every way. It really is the first impression that people are going to have. So it's a big task. And we wanted to make sure that we did an excellent job for our fabulous city and everybody coming here. So from start to finish, guests can expect to be really well taken care of, first and foremost. I have been calling it like a razzle-dazzle party, which is our great patriotic spirit with a little bit of a twist. So it just is something that people can look forward to. We've taken different areas of the festival grounds and created what we're calling zones. So there's a supper club.
Ooh.
There's a sports bar. There is a cork and curd, like a Wisconsin winery. Yeah. There are these different kinds of zones within the festival park that from north to south, they're going to experience something different for food and beverage, entertainment, look and feel. It's really, really special.
So, because sometimes when you on the different ethnic festivals, like for Festa Italiana this year, only a part of the grounds were used. Is everything open?
So we are using a part of the grounds for security purposes, of course, like those parts and times and all kinds of things are way outside of my lane.
Yes. Right,
but it is going to be certainly for the number of people, a significant amount of the festival grounds. And what we think is going to be also an intimate and special experience for people. So one of the things I'm really excited about is the arrival experience. You know, we are literally rolling out the red carpet. Today, we had a final walkthrough and signage was going up and a lot of things are starting to take place. And, you know, everybody a part of Milwaukee World Festival has just been fantastic. And the other thing that I think is super exciting for your listeners to appreciate is that the host committee has been very intentional about involving small local businesses in this party. And I feel really good about it. And I know that that sense about our great spirit of hospitality here in Milwaukee is going to be something that people from all over the country are going to experience at this party, which I'm really excited about.
That sounds great. So how many local businesses were, I'm not going to ask you to name them, but in general, how many are involved?
Yeah, so some I think I can name.
Sure,
because
you can name
celebrating.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm a lifelong Milwaukeean. I've had my business here, as you said, for over 20 years. For me, this was something that, all politics aside, I thought that it was really important to be a part of what is the first experience for people and the first impression. To me, it's important that we all do a great job to welcome people to the city. Magic Productions, like I mentioned, in Waukesha. I was just reviewing the menu again, and there are some cool local people on the menu like Milwaukee Pretzel Company, Pete's Pops, Fazio's Popcorn. Of course, Saz's Catering has done a great job. Another local business. Even some people like the Red Petal, which is a boutique florist out of Waukesha. And there's so many performers. That's another great thing. Like we have some musicians that are coming from the Milwaukee area, so that's going to be highlighted and really special. The sign shop is on State Street in Wauwatosa that's printing the majority of everything. A small creative firm, Cedar and Spice, is doing a lot of custom builds. So it's really neat to see this collection of small, creative, dedicated Milwaukee and businesses from our region come together to create this experience. It's really been a lot of fun. And I will say, I think the host committee is really impressed with all of us.
Very nice. That's David Caruso. He is the creative director behind Red, White, and Brew, the big welcome party for the RNC people that, well, none of you, and we can't go. But if you're credentialed, you're going to have a great time. We're going to talk more with David and find out more about what it's like to put together this giant event. We'll do that after this. It's Spanning the State.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstad. It's swimming season, or for some of us, golfing or gardening season, but you're not out there enjoying your favorite hobby because you're sidelined from arthritic joint pain. Bone-on-bone pain in your knees or hips, maybe. Here's what you do. You call QC Kinetics. There are exciting new cellular therapies that can get you the lasting relief you need. QC Kinetics is helping patients all the time. I'm talking cutting-edge treatments that accelerate your own body's healing properties, revitalizing your joints so you can move again. It's not sorcery, it's technology, and you don't need surgery. Call QC Kinetics. The local professionals at QC Kinetics in Greenfield and in Mequon are ready to help you. Here's the phone number, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation. 414-285-3474. Call QC Kinetics today.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
I'm Brett Matchke, and you're due for service.
Richlands.
The July sale on Norwalk Furniture is on now at Ken Michaels Furniture. Save 40% on showroom pieces that are ready for immediate delivery, or in just 35 days, you can create a look that reflects your unique style with over 850 fabric and leather options. From family-friendly to on-point designs, these fabrics are durable and fashionable, and our design service is free to help you put it all together. For better quality American-made upholstery, stop in today and save at any Ken Michaels Furniture locations in Greenfield, Brookfield, or downtown. Get a better night's sleep and save money on a Milwaukee mattress. For over 70 years, our family has been making mattresses and selling them direct to your family. By cutting out distribution costs, you can save up to 50% and get a better night's sleep on a premium mattress. Go green with natural latex. Reduce tossing and turning at night by reducing pressure points on your body. This is one of our most popular mattresses. Stop in today and take a test rest at any of our Ken Michaels Furniture locations in Greenfield, Brookfield, or downtown.
My wife and I both, we ended up mildly sick for a few months, and the nasal congestion was probably the worst part. I had like a post-nasal drip, just super congested all the time. We were taking everything we possibly could, but nothing really worked.
Kyrie was miserable until a friend recommended Navage. Navage offers immediate drug-free congestion relief, flushing your nasal passages with refreshing saline and sucking out mucus, germs, and other airborne irritants. Don't live in misery this cold season. Use Navage so you can breathe easier, sleep better, and feel your best right away.
The biggest thing Navage has done has completely cleaned out my nasal passages. It was from the first use. I was able to just clear out anything that was stopping me from breathing correctly. Navage helps me clear the way, literally clear the way, for me to operate better in the rest of my life.
Experience the Navage difference yourself. Navage is available at Navage.com or at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, and Rite Aid. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E.
It's Spanning the State. I'm Kristen Bry.
I'm Brian Noonan. The party is coming to the Summerfest grounds on Sunday, a party that the RNC attendees can attend, but you and I cannot. It is the Red, White, and Brew party. The creative director for this big shebang, David Caruso, is in the studio with us. Now, David, you said before you got input from past convention attendees, what they liked, what they didn't like. As a creative director, how much input did you get then from the host committee and from the RNC to say, this is kind of what we want, or did you have, you and the production company out of Wausau, did you guys create the vision for this?
Yeah, what was really neat about it is that the host committee definitely had some big ideas and some inspiration for all of us to hear about and to hopefully integrate into the experience for people. But they really were leaning on us as a creative team to make sure that we weren't limited by things that they might say or might have wanted. So I think in general, we were kind of given a lot of inspiration that just was more about like the general vibe, how they wanted people to feel, what they really wanted people to walk away from the experience feeling also. And then from there, we just compiled what we thought would be the best experience. Now, I will say, based on the timeline, we tried to also create something that we knew we could do in, in about 2 months of time. So, but yes, and all of that has really come to what has created Red, White, and Brew.
What is your, whether it's for this event or in general, since you have a 20-year career of doing events, as a Milwaukee native, as a Wisconsin native, what is your personal balance between the kitschier, stereotypical Wisconsin things versus things that are elegant and actually high-end? Not that, but you know what I'm saying, as far as like the sports bar, supper club versus an elegant experience. Like, what is your personal preference as far as how to blend those things versus falling totally into one?
Right. Yeah, it's a great question and something that I really find to be a fun challenge. For this party especially, we know that everyone is going to show up ready to have a good time and kick off their convention week. We also have been told that people are going to be wearing a lot of red, white, and blue and just really going all out for the theme. So with that in mind, we also anticipate people are coming to Milwaukee and coming to Wisconsin with some preconceived ideas of what we're like and what we're about and what they're going to experience. So with that, what was really important for me is to highlight what is special about our region and our city, but to do it with kind of a twist. And not that not that it's elegant. It's very fun, approachable, and still casual because that's what the party calls for. But for example, the areas like the supper club, the sports bar, the dairy club, these different areas that they're going to be able to have a good time in at the Henry Meyer Festival Park grounds, it's a little bit of a surprise factor. Everything is going to be, you're going to have cheese curds and fried fish and all of these things we expect, but the environment is going to be elevated a little bit. And the things that they're able to do, the entertainment they're going to see, the furniture they're going to sit on, the environment that's been created is a little bit more stylish, sophisticated. You still get the idea of a supper club or a sports bar, but it kind of has our special host committee Red, White, and Brew welcome party twist.
Well, because you almost have to, and I may be wrong, but when you're planning this event, you have to give the people a little bit of what they want, right? Because they're coming to Wisconsin, like you said, whether their preconceived notions are really great or, I don't know, you got to give them a little of that just so they can leave going, oh, well, that, yeah.
Give them a little cheese.
Yeah,
Not
exactly.
all
A little
cheese.
cheese.
A little
Yeah.
cheese.
You can have half a brat. That's what you get.
Yes, a little cheese and, some good wine instead of just all beer, even though we love the beer. But another area that I'm super excited about is called the Northwoods Lodge. And this area, we're also trying to take people on a little experience because we know most of them aren't going to be able to experience Wisconsin. They're just going to be kind of here in our central downtown region. So we're trying to do that at the party too.
It's going to be great. The Red, White, and Brew party is happening at the Henry Meyer Festival grounds on Sunday. David Caruso has been working hard for 2 months at least as the creative director for this. Good luck. I don't know if there's a theater equivalent to break a leg for a huge event like that, but I hope it goes well. It sounds like it's going to be a ball.
Yeah, we're so excited to welcome everyone to Milwaukee.
Very nice. Well, thanks for coming in, David. We appreciate it. Let's do this, and we'll come back and wrap things up at Spanning the State.
Welcome to another episode of Analysis Man.
From Buck superstar